Hello, welcome to episode number 10 of Beesler's Book Buzz. I can't believe it's the 10th episode. Let's get right into it. Apparently, a couple weeks ago, there was news that romance novelist Barbara Cartland is going to have her voice AI cloned because the state approved it with a deal that it had with this distributor called Belinda. So that falls under the scope of like James Earl Jones having his voice cloned, and apparently Ozzy Osbourne also having voice cloned and whatnot, likenesses cloned, and it's getting into some really unusual territory with this whole AI situation, and just goes to show that people are willing to make a quick buck if they think they can do it. So yeah, it's just mind-boggling to say the least. And I'm pretty sure it falls right into the territory of one of those sci-fi dystopian shows. Like, I'm not sure if it was Black Mirror or what, but yeah, we the whole species, has this tendency to figure out what is the best course for it, and then do the exact opposite. And I if there's nothing else to, just, finding out more stuff like this mm, just means that I will never run out of ideas for stories and stuff. So, yeah, there's so much horror out there in the world, and yeah, there's actually some horror that sneaks up on you when you least expect it. Like yesterday, I was waiting at the bus stop with my daughter, and this bee came right up close to me, really face to face kind of thing. And it was just like, well, I'm not wearing the shirt I was wearing yesterday, obviously, but my shirt had a collar, and I was wearing my uh, what beanie? What is it? Oh, um, the Grinch hat. Yeah, I was wearing my Grinch beanie, and so part of me was thinking that maybe the bee thought I was like a flower or something like that. So, and it was just like swirling around, buzzing at me, and my daughter's like, "Do you want me to swat it?" And I'm like, "No, no, no." I just had to stay there and just let the bee do its thing and just hope I didn't get stung. And it was just one of those random, unplanned moments where things, you know, have a life lesson or something like that. I don't know, but it was just a great exercise in, being a horror writer and, you know, going with what you know. And yeah, so that was definitely an experience. And there is actually another horror experience that I want to talk about, and I want to get this up close to you. Can you see this? Yeah, I want to talk about this audiobook. I'm not done listening to it. I got like 7 hours and 43 minutes left, as you can probably see on the screenshot. But I actually listened to. This is going to get 5 stars no matter what because all the stories have been fantastic in this. And but there was one particular story by Candace Nola, and when I saw it come up on the screen, I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to listen to this." And I definitely listened to that story. And that story, it's called "You Want a Hot Dog," that features a character named Gary. It's rare for me to actually hate, despise, loathe, detest, abhor, and all the synonyms for hate. It's rare for me to actually physically want to strain. Well, I'm trying to be, non, aggressive. I'll go with that, but because I don't want to get in trouble or anything like that. But Yeah, this guy named Gary, he does a lot of uh, a lot of incredibly oh just I can't hardly talk about it without being like getting all riled up again. Now that is a character that I absolutely cannot stand, and I was hoping he'd get his comeuppance, and I'm not going to spoil the story for you, but yeah, it takes if you can get your reader, your listener, audience to physically loathe a character like that, where just the thought of them makes them the audience sick to their stomach. You've actually done a fantastic job as an author, as a creative, and I gotta applaud Canvas because you know this was like the second story of hers that I was exposed to. I've now read a third one since then, and yeah, she is really becoming uh, one of my faves as far as horror writers are concerned. So yeah, I just and you know I'm kind of late to the party on this one, but there's a reason why uh, Women in Horror Month March was a big thing, and honestly, I think that women who write in the genre could be celebrated year round, honestly. And it's- Candace is just, oh, she's just opened up my eyes with, you know, the way she describes, the way she uses, dialogue. It's powerful stuff, and I cannot recommend it enough. I will keep recommending it, obviously, but I cannot recommend it enough. Right. It's just you have to read her stuff. Honestly, you honestly have to read Candace's work. But I won the You want a hot dog? I think it's best to listen to the audiobook version in that uh, horror collection Neon edition because the narrator did a fantastic job. I'm not sure if I would have hated Gary quite so much if I had actually read the story as opposed to hearing it through the audiobook. I mean, we're not going to get into the whole do audiobooks count as reading kind of thing because they obviously do, but in terms of my exposure to the story, just want to clarify that I definitely mm, enjoyed this in the audiobook sense. So yeah, so I recommend you listen to the audiobook. I recommend you always check out Candace's work. You can always find her on Substack. She does the uncomfortably dark um, publishing line. So yeah, check out her work. It's fantastic, and I definitely want to read more works by other women in horror. Because they can just it's just incredible. I like the genre. I always have, even when I didn't really understand the genre when I was a little kid, and the genre just happened to show itself up in like Saturday morning cartoons and whatnot. That's what first gave me my love for it, and I think I mentioned that once or twice before on the platform on the show. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have for this week. I do want to say one thing really quick, if you'll let me. I just want to plug this one, Life Flashes. It's my science fiction, um, kind of like dystopian a little bit, but it's like parallel universe, alternate realities, altering timelines kind of thing. It's about college student named Austin Teff who gets caught up in this whole swapping back and forth between realities after a flash of light hits him, and he starts, his reality quickly comes undone with all the events that happen. He's traveling back and forth between the state of Colorado and the city of Seattle. And yeah, right now it's available for free on Amazon. The ebook is. So I check it out if you want to. And I also have some audiobook codes for it if you want to actually check out the audiobook too. But yeah, for the next few days, excuse me, the book will be available. So, well, it's always going to be available, but it's going to be available for a really deep, deeply discounted price. So, yeah. Okay, so that's all I have this week for the Beesler's Book Buzz. And I actually made it. I actually pulled it off. I didn't forget to do an episode on the first Tuesday of the month, which past couple months, if you've been paying attention, I kind of slacked off a little bit. So anyhow, I'm Jeff Beesler. You can, find more information from me at jeffbeeslerbooks.com about my stuff. And you can sign up for my newsletter. And thank you for subscribing. And thank you for watching. And I will see you again soon. Have an awesome week, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.